nights. I think every Friday night during the summer. And so we went there. Oh gosh, I hope it's Friday. But it was a lot of people brought cars. There were a lot there.
There's a lot of them now that are on a monthly schedule like that. In Anaheim, there's one group on I think it's the last Sunday of the month, and the other group is on the first Sunday of the month. And they're a different clan of cars, what do you want to call it? The one is mostly Japanese.
Oh.
And the other one is more of the typical hot rod and stuff. Well, we got Catherine, John Bolin, and today must be the 21st? 22nd? Okay, yeah. I was trying to do my math backwards because the 24th is a very important day. That's Sunday. That's my wife's birthday. And so.
Happy birthday to her.
Yeah, May was born in July, and her sister June was born in May. No, I'm making that up.
So boy, I just wanted to say something about this black and white photography. Yikes. Well, I just found that what you think is going to look good doesn't always. And boy, everything, I was thinking, well, flowers. No, there's nothing in particular. It just has to be the picture. And it could be people, it can be plants, it can be anything. And you just have to keep trying. I mean, I'm taking older pictures and I'm redoing them in black and white.
Well, you brought up a good point, because sometimes I think something's going to be really good in black and white.
Yeah.
And it's not, and so I do it and it's not. And then Amy has a couple of times encouraged me, oh, have you tried that in black and white? And I said, no, I just didn't think it would work. So give it a try. And she would write. It turned out to be a dynamite black and white. So.
Well, I don't think I was, I mean, I made a lot of wrong judgments. I couldn't even, you just can't until you see it. And I just thought, oh, this would look great in black and white. No, it didn't.
Well,
and vice versa.
You'll figure it out over time, and
Yeah.
And it does take some practice. So.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of it. Were you there Wednesday? Were you with us Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay. That adjustments that you make for the various colors, Doug probably has the more technical understanding of that, but that makes a huge difference, because when you, in the old days, when you shot with black and white film, like for landscapes, if you wanted to bring out the sky or the clouds, you would use a red filter. Most of the photographers carried a variety of filters that were doing black and white. And then in the dark room, they would do all kinds of things to do for that color compensation that you could just now do by doing some sliders in Lightroom. So, so different colors translate into shades of gray differently, even if they have the same saturation or luminosity. They behave differently. So you can change the effect that you get. And that's why I picked that picture with a lot of color in it as an example.
Yeah, that's one of the things about those color sliders in the black and white part of Lightroom. colors reflect light back at different brightnesses.
Yeah.
And by being able to adjust individual colors, and as the word was luminosity, it would basically the brightness or lightness or darkness of it, you can kind of eliminate the brightness features of individual colors and more level them out and use them to your advantage to what you want, rather than what just the light converting over to black and white is going to do. They do reflect at different luminosities, and sometimes you can tone it overly bright. The color yellow in particular on a flower is very bright and reflects a lot of light. And quite often, if you're zoomed in on a yellow flower,
So who had the
telephoto
big
lens,
fluffy flower? Was it
Kevin, I think.
Kevin?
Yeah,
Oh, that was stunning. That was,
yeah.
what color was that flower?
I think I posted that earlier. It was like an orange, yellow, pink
Wow.
thing. It was from the VA garden.
Uh-huh. Wow.
I think I posted a color one earlier. If I didn't, I'll post it again. But a comment about the sliders. I like the idea that Doug brought up, and that was turning on the blinkers on there, because before the blinkers, I was just playing around with blacks, and I didn't know how far I was pushing over the blacks. It just, but when you, even in the black and white, is if you have the blinkers on and you can see, oh, I'm going to slide a color left to darken it up, boom, there's blue. It's okay, I've gone far enough.
yeah, that's where you kind of watch that histogram in the upper
That
right-hand side.
as well, but I mean, your eye is focused on the picture, and you're like,
Right.
oh, how's it changing? But as soon as you see that little hint of blue for the black and the red for the going to the right, that gives me a good guide as to, okay, you're going to overdo it. you
Yeah.
know, so,
And you're going to see it right
So,
exactly on your picture where it is, overexposed. or
Yeah.
underexposed.
yeah.
I want
With
to
that
throw out a
blinking.
theory for you guys. The theory is everything almost runs in frequencies. All colors have specific frequencies. And when you're doing your slider or something, you're adjusting the frequencies of the image of the color. All sound is like a frequency. You have the body that has a frequency. Everything in the world almost has a frequency. And I think the pyramids were lifted by knowing the frequency of the rocks they were dealing with. So I'm just throwing that out, as frequency is a tremendous thing in the world for color, sound, most everything. Just a thought.
Well, thank you for the good vibrations. And we're past 3:05. So let's see if we have any announcements.
Can I ask one quick question? When I'm doing the, masking, how do I stop that? Like I'll be masking away, and okay, I switch to the background and I change it up. How do I get rid of that mask?
Click on the same icon up on the toolbar that turned it on. That little round.
Yeah.
Yeah, just click back on that and you're right back to the rest of the editing.
I must be doing something wrong. I tried that, but I'll go back and play around. Okay.
That's probably, I'm glad you asked that question. That is probably worth a class, because this new masking tools, the masking tools are so powerful, and there's so much you can do with it. And I struggled at first figuring out exactly how to use it. But now I find it amazing how I can adjust things the way I want to see them. So that's probably worth a class. Wouldn't you think so, Doug?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll try and do that in the very
I'm
near future.
scheduling it.
You're scheduling it already?
Yeah.
Give it to
Oh.
Stephen.
Okay. it'd probably be a good idea if Doug and I probably partnered on that,
Mhm.
as we could play good guy, bad guy.
Yeah. And again, there's 20 ways to do the same thing in the
Yeah.
Photoshop and Lightroom.
And speaking of 20 ways, when you say that, that reminds me of Lonnie Scott, because when we used to do a lot of things in Photoshop and elements, he commonly would say there's I know 10, 20 different ways of doing the same thing. And I got an update today from Lisa. He's had 5 strokes in the last few days. He's totally bedridden now. It's not looking good at all for Lonnie.
Mhm.
So it's very heartbreaking to hear that. Those of you that didn't know Lonnie, there's, I don't think Doug, you didn't know him, right?
No.
And probably John Boland and the young John. And so I'm not, Kevin.
I met him a couple of times at those meetings.
Yeah.
He was very informative. Boy, he knew his stuff.
Oh,
Yes.
he posts, he's done things I still haven't figured out how he did it. It's amazing what he could do.
He and Lawrence both were amazing at that Photoshop.
Yes. So anyhow, announcements.
You had talked about the Orange County Fair. I looked yesterday and there were still tickets at all the available dates. So it'd
Oh, okay.
be selling out, but you do have to buy them ahead of time online.
Okay, I'll try and figure out a date that I can work that in. Probably go more for evening, because I feel, I don't know if anyone else feels the same way. This heat, for some reason, feels like it'll be yesterday 90 degrees, around that range, but it felt like the days where it was 110. It's just got an intensity to it.
Humidity, a lot of humidity.
Okay. Well, today, Catherine and I are going to take you to the Grand Caymans. We both went there to visit your money. And I forgot to call Catherine. Do you want to go over what you have first about the Cayman Islands? Oops, sorry, I hit the wrong.
No, I'll let you go first.
Oh, okay. Well, hang on a second. By the way, you, Barbara, you were talking about just having to pick up the color and the versus the black and white.
Yes,
You can see that there.
yes.
That's not what I intended to show, but all right. So here we are at my website, which just a quick advertisement. You're all welcome to join it. And but I created a private one here for the Cayman presentation. And I want to go to, how do I get this to full screen? Well, all right, let's get on slideshow. All right, so May and I went to the Cayman Islands, but I went as a +1. Oh, come on, I forgot. Okay. And what that means is May has been selling insurance for almost 30 years. And the insurance companies that she works for, they'll have conventions, but you have to qualify for them. Well, we have went somewhere in the world every year at the insurance company's expense. And this year it was the Cayman Islands.
Mhm.
And since she's going and she can bring a guest, they call the guest as +1. So I've been a +1. I think I'm an awfully good +1, but so that got us to the Grand Cayman Islands. And I was experimenting here with this because I didn't want to do death by PowerPoint. So I was trying to mix the PowerPoint slides with the pictures from the Grand Caymans, and I ran out of time trying, I thought I knew how to make them so they would be full screen, and it wasn't working, but I'll figure it out. So, so I wanted to mix some of the PowerPoint issues or information with pictures. Now, the highest point in Grand Cayman is an 8-story high dump. And I saw it and had bulldozers going up and down it. And the locals call it Mount Trashmore. And you can smell it when you get near it. And it's a small island, and it basically has every piece of garbage that's been discarded on the island since around the 60s, because where else are they going to take it? Except what they're doing now is Kenneth Dart, who I'm going to talk about in a minute, he's having barges come in, fill them up with trash, and taking them somewhere. So dumping it somewhere else, and I'm not sure where. But the island has a lot of vegetation, a lot of flowers. And I took my 150 to 600 zoom with me, because when I Googled about the Grand Caymans, they said there was 250 species of birds there. So I thought I'd take a lot of bird pictures. Well, it turns out that 250, most of them are chickens or mosquitoes. The mosquitoes are intense. Kenneth Dart is a very big name there. Kevin, he's from your country. He was at one time the richest man in Michigan, and he started the Dart, well, he didn't start, it was his family business, the Dart Container Company, which makes solo cups and other things. And then he got mad at Michigan and the United States, and he moved to some other island, and they wouldn't give him a tax-free life. So then he moved to the Grand Caymans, and he now owns, I've heard, from 40 to 60% of all the land. And he's building like crazy. The hotel we stayed in, well, for these insurance conventions, they're always 5-star hotels, but it was the nicest hotel on the island, and it's fairly new. This is a view from the 10th floor of the room that we had. So, he's also very recluse, very difficult to find, interview. People compare him to Batman or Jimmy Buffett. And for those of you that don't know what a solo cup is or have never played a drinking game, this is what a red solo cup looks like. And he made billions of dollars from these. Who would have thought? He bought an entire hotel. Well, he owns a lot of them, but one of them it's just for him. He bought the hotel for himself to live in. This is taken at the just forgot the name of the hotel. Pimpton. The name of the hotel was Pimpton. And it's very hard to get a casual picture of my wife. She tends to pose. That's what inspired me to talk to Amy about having an unposing class. So I was sitting talking to her and waiting for her to not be staring at the camera, smiling. Some of the other things he's done, he's opened a huge retail area called Cayman Bay, and he's proposed a skyscraper. I have a hard time feeling that how that's going to work when the island is only, what, about 7 feet above sea level. Matter of fact, in a hurricane, it got almost completely wiped out. This is not where he lives. It's a little construction hut where they're knocking down a hotel and building another one. And so I thought it made a cool picture. The island is 76 square miles, approximately the size of Brooklyn, New York, and only 7 feet above sea level. In 2004, the Hurricane Ivan, submerged most of the island. $3 billion worth of damage. Bodies were flushed out of cemeteries and floated out to sea.
Oh, my God.
And animals escaped their enclosure. And now that's why there's so many chickens around. This happens to be one of them. So it is a closely guarded secret how much he owns, but it's most likely at least 50% of the island. Now, one of the things they have on the Grand Cayman Islands is there's lots of these bicycles around, and they're free to use. Now, they're locked up, and through some sort of method, you use a credit card or something to unlock it, but you don't get charged. They just know if you don't bring it back who you are. And like I said, I took a lot of flower pictures. Everywhere I walked, there were lots of flowers. But we arrived there on close to dinner time, evening, and we had all the meals and stuff were put on by the AIG, and we had dinner on the beach, and you could order what you wanted. I ordered the mahi mahi tacos, and it was probably the best taco I've ever had. I'm not a foodie person. I usually don't think much about food, and as Mr. Foreman can tell you, I can't cook anything. But this, up until now, of all the places I've been, I thought Cuba had the best food, but the Cayman Islands top that. And I'm not talking about just the hotel we stayed in, which obviously would have good food, but we went other places too on our own, and it was fabulous. Like this place. This was a spot that was recommended for their food, and I can't remember what I ate at this thing, but it was good. Every place had good food. This is another view of the same place. Now, what I discovered though is we got there in the evening, like I said. So the next morning, I went out with my camera thinking I was going to spend a good part of the morning taking pictures. After 2 hours, I had to come back, change clothes, and take a shower. It was 90 plus degrees and 68% humidity. And I think Catherine will tell you that the time we went was not the best time of the year for going there. I guess the January timeframe, whatever, it might be better. But they probably got, it's very expensive to put on these conventions, and they probably got a good deal for having it at not the most touristy time of the year. Regardless of that, I started asking, I learned to work in the conversation, asking people where they were from, because I think eventually, if I'd have kept this up, I would have met somebody from every country in the world. It was amazing the people, where these people were from. And even the people working there would be from different parts of the world. The 2 professional photographers that they hired, I got to be really good friends with one of them. He lives in Germany, and he works in, his main income is working in the Grand Caymans about 3 months out of the year for things like the event we were at. There was also a lot of this lava rock, if I got it correctly, at various places. Besides having 7 mile sandy beach, there's also this kind of rock. This is one of the evening meals, and so we always ate, well, not always, most of the time we were eating outside, and just a shot there of the food available. They also had a lot of, well, they had an open bar and everything, but they had this display of some of the drinks that were available. Kevin can fill you in on what each of these are. That's again, like I said, just everywhere I turned, I was finding botanical things. This is further down, about a mile away from our hotel, and behind me was a lot of construction going on. But I saw this stack, and I just thought it made a great picture. So, and maybe I should try this in black and white, but anyhow. Starting from the right is Matt Kelly, who started working in the same agency, Maze, and about a few months after she did. So we've become real good friends, and you're allowed to bring one person. And so this is Hank. He lives in Boston, but they went to high school together and have remained friends. And just as I'm ready to take this picture, this girl, I'm not sure what she was, but she was walking around just striking poses left and right. So I said, hey, can you get in this picture?
Oh,
So well, here we are at one of the meals sitting. These are mostly agents. Well, this is May here. This is the current manager of the agency. When his father retired, he took it over. This is Tiffany, and she's Chinese, and so her and May now call themselves sisters. They really got along well. And that's her husband, Mark, who is Japanese. So, and here they are, May and Tiffany on the beach. Here, this Terry, she's a pretty good photographer, and her and I are friends on Instagram. Her husband is the CEO, or I forget that particular what they call it, but he's the head honcho for the AIG, and this is his wife. And of course, May, being the #1 agent most of the time, is well known among all the big wigs. So I managed to get them to do something other than a standard pose. This is a picture I took of Tiffany. She is so funny, hilarious. She just had us laughing so much. So I have no idea who this is, but I saw her standing there in this outfit, so I took her picture. This is one of the evening meals. It was outdoors, and I pretty much photographed everything that was in that area. So I was looking around for something to take a picture of, and I saw these glasses stacked like this. So I lined up how I wanted to shoot it. I underexposed it, and then well, people would call it photoshopping, but I lightroomed the hell out of it to get this look. And so I think I covered this flower before. Now this was so much fun. This was fun. This, it has a more official name. I called it the Turtle Farm. And I really, really enjoyed this. And you're welcome to Google to get the exact facts, but the island was not settled for the longest time because because of the mosquitoes and the heat and the humidity. But it was a popular stopover place for sailing ships and stuff because they could catch these giant turtles and eat them. And so, but now they're protected, and this turtle farm manages the turtles. And if you get caught, and well, they raise them and then they release them, and it's a $50,000 or $75,000 fine and 6 years in jail if you get caught poaching a turtle. They do have, the islanders are really into turtle meat, so they have to buy their turtles from here. This is where, if you want to eat turtle meat, you can take the risk of poaching one and a huge fine, or you can get the limited supply from this place. But it's, I thought this sign was pretty cute. The Cayman Islands, there's no taxes. They make so much money from the banks and tourism that it pays for all the infrastructure and everything else they do. Now here's some of the turtles. I left, these are probably May's feet, looking at those shoes. But anyhow, you can get an idea how big these turtles are. And here's a more close up. Yes, they are ugly, and but interesting. I think this was my best shot of a turtle. Now this is walking around. On the left there was all those smaller ponds where they do kind of breeding and stuff. And I'm pretty sure this one, I know the next one's a panorama. I forget what was in here. Well, no, there was turtles in here too, and I forget what order they were arranged. Now this is inspired by Lawrence. I forget how many shots this was, but I started, I went 180 degrees with taking this picture. Made kind of an interesting effect. Started on my left and turned 180, took shots until I went 180 degrees. You can swim there, or what do they call it, snorkeling?
Snorkeling, yeah.
Yeah. Then they had a bird, what's the proper word for it?
Aviary.
Aviary, thank you. They had this bird aviary, and I finally got to take some bird pictures because they just didn't seem to be hanging around where I was. So,
Oh, wow. Beautiful.
yeah, they
Oh,
had quite a variety there. This one I found very interesting.
Yeah.
hmm.
There were like 3 of these, I think. And here they also make more birds. And this is Agent Terry, who she was also interested in the aviary, and May was not. So May had left by that time to go to the gift shop. So, and this bird landed on her head. That made a great shot. Wasn't planned, she's just standing there and the bird landed on her hat. This is another shot of some of the water areas in here. Not sure what this was, but it looked interesting. Okay, now we're at we're at an evening meal, and this place was an old establishment. It's been around a long time. It's huge, and we were sitting right there where May is standing. That was the table we were using. And these storm clouds came in, and I thought, we're going to get rained on. And we did get a little bit of sprinkling, but then it blew away. But, well, this is again a view from our table. Okay, I see I've got, this may be out of order, but we also had a tour of this place that was the oldest remaining stone house on the island, and it's now a tourist spot. Whoa, okay. And they had these things supposedly representing what the Cayman Islands used to be like, but you can see their facades.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now I got it straight. This is the building. This was a very interesting building. This is the oldest established building. And so it was going through, it was pretty interesting. I really like that way it was built, but if you think that when they built things in the 1800s, the rooms were not as high and a lot smaller than we are used to today. Yeah, there's another facade. And that picture I took from that house that had all the stairs and stuff. Is I went up to the top. A few pictures. I have no idea what they were trying to show here. Oh, this is around the house, some of the things they have set up. And from the way the house used to be. And from there, we went to a brewery, a rum brewery, I guess you would call it, where they have the 7 Fathoms. And that's very popular there. And some of the people bought bottles of this, and it was around $100 for a bottle. The 7 Fathoms come from the way they make this. They put them in a keg and they put them about 42 feet underwater for several years in the ocean as part of the process. And while we were there, and the other part of the retail part, we all sat at tables, and they put out these things with various types of condiments on them. And they said they'll tell you which goes with which rum. And then they started with the what they called white rum. I said to them, I can't drink. I have a pacemaker. And he says, no, it's okay. You can. I want you to smell each one, and then you can dump it into this container. So it went from the white rum to a really dark one, which he said was a lot stronger. And I can't remember all the flavors, but the last one was a banana rum. And it really had a nice flavor. And each one he would say, okay, eat this with this rum. Well, when he got to the banana rum, it was chocolate covered plantains. And I thought, well, the size of this, the amount that's pouring in each one is about maybe what a bottle cap worth of drink. Says, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and drink the banana rum and have the chocolate covered plantain. So
Was it good?
yes,
Oh, good.
it was very good. This is a tree, and it's a Cantadentophyus tree. This I thought was interesting. From where I was sitting, this cloud formation, this is not a sky replacement. This cloud formation was lined up with this tree like this. I thought that was pretty cool. And then, like I said, that storm that came over went out to sea as the sun was setting, and it made the most dramatic photo. So dramatic to the point that I was afraid that people would say, oh, you photoshopped that, whatever. But no, I did not. It was just, like I said, very amazing. You had this dark, heavy cloud, the sun way back there just setting. So it was lighting up these other clouds, but not shining through these. It's pretty cool. Also at that place, they were saying, oh, you can get a Cuban cigar on the Caymans. And what made it a Cuban cigar is this guy's from Cuba. And the Caymans are 90 miles from Cuba. And there were a lot of Cubans on the island. And this guy was a famous cigar maker. So I asked him if I could take his picture, and he said, sure. And he reached down and pulled out this display cigar, I would think it is. And then the last day, I kept wanting to try and work in a trip to their botanical gardens, which are supposed to be quite awesome. And so I was going to skip the swimming with the stingrays trip and go there just on my own to the botanical gardens. And May says, no, you need to come with us to swim with the stingrays. Well, I really missed that I didn't get the botanical gardens, but had a lot of fun here. And this is on the boat going out to wherever it is. And I didn't bring my good camera because I didn't know how much exposure to salt water there was going to be. So these pictures were taken with my iPhone. It turned out it would have been perfectly safe to bring my camera. This looks just like the boat we were on, basically. Because there were quite a few of them going out. And this is, when you get there, you come down this ladder. This is all, the water is only 3 or 4 foot deep. And there's lots of stingrays there, so you can touch them, pet them, so forth. After that, we sailed to this restaurant for lunch, or a late lunch, and sitting outside. Again, the food was pretty amazing. And again, I didn't have my camera with me, but there was this cat sitting underneath my table. And so I took this with my iPhone. I think it came out awfully good. Pretty sharp. Oh, my. And so here is May and Tiffany saying goodbye. Nice seeing you. Now, do you want to share screen, Catherine?
Yes.
Okay. You should have it. Yep. Okay, let me stop sharing mine first. Where'd the bar go? Stop share. Okay.
Okay, can you see my desktop?
Yes.
Okay. One of the things about the Grand Caymans, before COVID, we used to go to a Caribbean island each year. And we went there in 2015. And it's a lot wealthier island than the other islands that we've been to. And I wonder if it's because of Kenneth Dart has put so much money into it. Also, there's a lot of more rules for the tourist. Like the people aren't allowed to approach you on the beach and sell you things. I just got 4 pictures that I pulled out. I didn't know that you didn't go to the botanical gardens. I assumed you were going to take care of that.
Yes, I really wanted to, so.
Computer's not cooperating.
I took you to the Grand Caymans. Catherine's going to take you to hell.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing. Oh. File error, okay.
You got an error, yeah. I was to start over.
Okay. I'm gonna stop share,
Yeah.
see if it, try again. It's still spinning.
Hmm.
Okay,
There you go.
I'll try.
Oops.
You may have to restart your computer based on that error.
Okay,
Stop sharing Zoom and see if you can open it behind the scenes and then go
Oh,
to it.
that's a good point.
okay,
Good point.
okay, let me try that. Still spinning.
Make sure your internet's on.
I wouldn't be able to be in the meeting if the internet weren't on. Yeah, maybe at the end or something. I can't get them open for some reason.
I tell
You
you what,
try right-clicking on it and stop it.
Okay, right click.
Just-
Control Alt Delete on a PC.
Okay. Control Alt Delete.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, sign out. I got lock, switch user, sign out, change a password, task man,
Yeah. Go to Task.
Task. Yeah.
task manager.
Yeah.
And then look for the one that seems to be hung up and stop it.
Okay, I've got Microsoft Word, photos, probably photos,
All
Mhm.
right.
but it doesn't say in task, it doesn't let me more.
Right click it and then it should say end task.
Okay, let me, let's see. Delete, task manager. Okay, photos.
Otherwise, when you go sign out, you'll reboot the computer and take care of the problem and then.
Yeah, it sounds to me like you're going to have to reboot. Why don't you do that? We'll review some of the postings, and then
Okay.
you tell us when you got it going, and we'll switch back to you.
Okay,
All right. Let's get back to Facebook. Hang on. Long Beach. Oh, there's some new postings already. This is from Kevin.
That's the one I love.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I saw that. This is good.
Yeah, very good.
Flowers, I found very difficult to, sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, this one was modeled pretty well. So, based on that, it seemed to come out pretty dynamic here.
Yeah,
Uh,
nice.
This is John Boland.
Yeah, that would not have worked in color very well because you need to see the color of this critter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's a good one.
what'd you do there?
That was in front of a shop on 2nd Street in Belmont Shore.
Wow,
Yeah.
I like it.
Mhm.
This one
Yes.
interested me because I believe this apartment building, it could be 100 years old. It was probably built in the 1920s in Long Beach. And it looks today probably exactly the way it did 100 years ago.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Black and white even makes it look older.
I think this is a very narrative street photography. It's got, in color, you wouldn't feel the age as much, I don't think.
No.
Yeah.
Or maybe you'd feel too much age.
That's dark.
Oil.
I took this actually with the intent of the ghost sign at the bottom. Ghost signs typically are, over time, a wall might get 2 or 3 different opposing signs or whatever, and that's what this actually was. Still Standard Oil products, but there's a layer of Standard Oil underneath it in darker colors. But when I looked at it, I saw this woman up in the right-hand window, and I thought that stood out, so I call that the woman in the window.
Mhm.
This is in Jerome, Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
The movie was pretty good too.
There was a movie by Jerome?
About the girl, I think. it
Oh,
was the
yeah,
girl
yeah.
in the
It
window.
was
I think.
your, yeah,
Gary, no,
rear
what is
window.
that?
So that was, these items were on a outside at a sidewalk cafe on 2nd Street in Long Beach. And
Steve, is Catherine back in?
Oh,
I'm sorry, John, go on.
John?
oh yeah, well, that's all. So the original in color was almost totally black and white anyway. So I just
Yeah.
went ahead and made it totally black and white.
You nailed the tones, that ivory black and that salt shaker, the tone of
Salt
white.
shaker. I don't know why the salt shaker just, it's really great.
It's
You would
what?
never think- You would never think something as simple as a salt shaker would stand out like that, but it does.
Oh, yeah. No, that's pretty awesome.
Mm.
Catherine, if you're ready to share, let me know.
Okay, I'm ready.
Oh, okay. And let me change this to, okay, you can share. Oops, sorry. Did I,
No, I've got, can you see my screen?
Oh,
Yes.
Okay, that's one of the mini chickens that you see along the road there that Steve talked about.
Mhm.
This is called Eden Rock. It's across from a very upscale shopping center. And it was probably Kenneth Dart's doing. I didn't know about Kenneth Dart when we were there. Anyway, that's a place where they do diving. It's not really a beach area. It's there's a, over on this side, there's a food stand, small food stand. And then there's a staircase. You can go down into the water. That was the best snorkeling that we found. You know, we tried off the beaches and stuff, but that was the best snorkeling. I took these in 2015 and I've learned a lot more about photography since then. So. This,
Oh, there you are.
yeah, that's my favorite. They had the mangroves. You could kayak through they're very narrow. You have to push bushes away, out of the way sometimes. But that was really nice. Then hell,
Who was following you?
that's my husband.
Okay.
We're in the same kayak. This is hell.
Oh,
They had, these are limestone rock formations. And people thought they looked like hell. So they named it hell. And then they kind of built up a tourist trap type city around it. There's a post office and a little store with gifts and refreshments. And that's what hell is. Okay, and that was mine.
Okay. Well, it's almost 4 o'clock. Shall we end it for today? So everyone get ready for the weekend. Celebrate May's birthday on Sunday and the French Grand Prix.
mhm.
And
Anybody
the
have
end of the
anything?
Tour de France bicycle race.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were having to spray some of the roads with water because of the heat. The bicycles wouldn't get stuck in the pavement.
Mhm.
Wow.
And for your information, there's supposed to be a car show in Huntington Beach on the 13th of August from 10 to 3, I believe it is.
Okay, remind us again, just before that. What day of the week is that?
It's a Saturday, if I recall, 13th.
Okay.
Where in particular do you know, Larry?
No, I think it's probably by the library, south of the library, maybe with the park, the sports park there. I'm not sure. I
Okay.
believe that's where it is.
John, have you seen anything about the Seal Beach Car Show that's going to happen this year? Same thing for Belmont Shores?
Yeah.
Are you talking to me or John Warlock? No, I haven't seen anything yet.
I did in the paper, they said it would be taking place. This,
Go- But it is going to happen this year.
yes.
Oh.
I don't know the dates, but I think it's September maybe, or it's not right away.
Yeah, I think Seal Beach used to be in April and Belmont was in September, just before Labor Day or something,
Yeah.
or Memorial Day, excuse me. No, it's Labor Day. It's Labor Day at the end of September.
I'll check with the Seal Beach Journal. They'll know.
Yeah, we'll Google and see what happens.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Have a good weekend.
Yep. Have a good weekend, everybody. Take a lot of pictures and convert them to black and white.
Yeah.
I'll be gone
Okay.
next week, by the way, because I'm not playing hooky. We're going up to Palo Alto for a week. And
Oh,
my daughter is having surgery up there at Stanford University Hospital.
Mm,
And so we're going to be up there with her for the week. And I'll let you know.
Good luck.
We're very hopeful.
that's good.
all right. Oh, well, we'll miss you next week and good
Yeah.
luck. Wish your daughter the best.
Yes.
Okay.
Take care.
All right. That's it. I'm signing off.
Okay.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.